Tonight on CTV News, we bring you updates on the Fort Collins topless ban.
We also have information on the construction in the LSC.
And more on last week's animal rights protest.
Later in the show, we have the story on the underwater hockey team.
All that and more starting now. Good evening, Rams. Thank you for tuning in tonight. I'm Edgar Cidio.
And I'm Matt Leisman. Tonight we bring you an update on the contested vape ban and more news from the people you know.
The College of Agriculture's new JBS Food Innovation Center on campus is sparking some controversy. Animal rights activists gathered on the plaza Friday morning to protest JBS and the animal cruelty that they would be bringing onto campus. The project has been under construction after $12.5 million were donated to build the center on campus. CSU's goal of the center is to teach students about meat processing, research, and other ways to change the animal agriculture industry. But this is not the first time some animal rights activists voiced their concerns.
I think that this is wrong. I think that, sure, everybody has the right to go and learn whatever they like, but to promote such, activity, we feel is wrong. We feel it's immoral.
The new Food and Innovation Center is located as a part of the Animal Sciences Building.
Last week, Ethan Burschak, a senator for ASCSU, proposed a resolution opposing the ban on tobacco products and vapes on campus. The ban, which is still not being fully enforced, came after former Governor Hickenlooper's executive order last November. Delray Chiaravola, the CSU PD public information officer, says that even though the order caught the university off guard, they fully support reducing vaping and tobacco usage on campus.
We've been somewhat reactive because it wasn't something that the university led, but at the same time, we are supportive of it. There are multiple health issues associated with tobacco use, vaping, even if it doesn't include nicotine, and secondhand exposure. So for the health of our university, this is really a positive thing.
According to data compiled by the CSU's Office of Financial Aid, between the 2000 and 2001 academic year and the 2018-19 academic year, the cost of attendance has more than doubled. After tuition and fees, the largest expense to students and their families is housing. The cost of attendance for this academic year sits at nearly over $27,000. The average amount of grants and scholarships awarded to students provided by financial aid covers nearly half of that for in-state students and less than a third of that for out-of-state students. Director of Financial Aid Tom Bedfield said the office is trying to compensate for the high cost of living prices, but aren't seeing federal Pell Grants increase as quickly as they need to. Additionally, the office often sees middle-income students who don't qualify for federal aid. Oh yeah, we're talking about how expensive college tuition is. I can't believe how high it is. Like, my student loans are insane.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. I definitely feel the burn on my wallet just about every week, especially when it's between paychecks.
Oh yeah, especially the end of the week. That Friday will get us.
Yeah.
Women in Fort Collins cannot be barred from going topless according to a Friday ruling from the 10th Circuit Court of Appeals. The appeals court judges ruled 2-1 in favor of the Free the Nipple activists who sued the city of Fort Collins over its ban on women existing topless in public. The court ruled that ordinances that target a group based on gender is a violation of the Equal Rights Protection Clause of the U.S. Constitution.
On Monday, a woman reported being groped by a man in the Clark building, according to email and text alerts sent out by Colorado State University's public safety team. The incident occurred in the C Wing, but the CSU Police Department did not release the exact location. CSU's PD spokeswoman Delray Chiaravola said that there haven't been any other cases like that this year. CSU PD asks anyone who has further information about the incident to call them at 970-491-6425.
A controversial piece of legislation is making its way through the state capitol. The legislation would change the way that sex education is taught in Colorado schools. The bill would also include teaching students about consent. Representative Perry Buck, who represents the 49th District, which is located in most of Lamar County, is against the bill.
You cannot do a one-size-fits-all. My district, the unincorporated, God bless them all, don't want to be told what they think is consent, what they think is their curriculum. Everybody has different...
Perry's comments contradict Colorado's definition of consent, which are defined as cooperation in act and attitude, exercise of free will, and knowledge of what is happening. If you would like more information on consent, you can visit wgac.colostate.edu.
On Monday, nearly 100 people stood in the cold to protest outside U.S. Senator Cory Gardner's Fort Collins office, according to reports from the Coloradan. The group demanded the Republicans stand against President Donald Trump's declaration of a national emergency. Protesters held signs, some of which accused Trump of being the national emergency. Trump declared a national emergency last week in order to fund the southern border wall he promised along his campaign. The press secretary said on Thursday, President Trump will sign the government funding bill, and as he has stated before, he will also take other executive action, including a national emergency, to ensure we stop the national security and humanitarian crisis at the border.
Recently elected Governor Jared Polis visited the Associated Students of Colorado State University Senate chamber on Friday afternoon to discuss the cost of higher education and how he plans on fixing it.
And I would like to present the Governor of the State of Colorado, the Honorable Jared Polis.
Governor Jared Polis spoke with the Associated Students of Colorado State University about lowering student debt. He hopes to decrease the cost of textbooks by offering free license and open source texts, which are online versions of textbooks that would be available to students for little to no cost. One student in the audience, Kevin LaRusso, asked Polis why the rate of inflation and the rate of college tuition are rising at different rates.
Well, one of the things is that clearly we have a huge issue in this country with student loan debt. I think the largest portion of debt owned in this country is student loan debt.
The governor assured the chamber that while interest rates are high and rising, they are still lower than commercial loans. LaRusso additionally asked Polis how the rising cost of tuition was directly related to the government. The governor said he believed tuition continues to rise due to the lack of state funding and reduced voter turnout.
And so that is why I'm asking him this question, because it was in no way to blame him, but he's the governor of the state, and he himself has said that education costs are one of his top priorities, so these are questions he should be able to answer.
Jared Polis not only addressed his agenda regarding lowering college tuition, but also opened the floor to the Senate chamber where issues were presented regarding out-of-state and international students and how this affected financial situations.
The governor answered questions on his belief that Indigenous peoples deserve a higher education and also brought up his ideal Colorado for all.
But beyond that, we want to acknowledge the heritage of everybody who's made Colorado what it is today. My focus is Colorado for all.
A senator in the audience spoke about their support of this ideal.
That was something that was related to the students who are here, coming from different states across the U.S. and even coming from different countries across the globe. So I think it's really pertinent that he talked about it. I wish that he talked more on it. It's really necessary, that we acknowledge and respect all the different people coming into Colorado.
Polis finished the meeting by directly thanking out-of-state and international students who attend CSU.
All right, how many of you are from out of state? Thank you. Let's give them a round of applause. And we know it's a sacrifice. We know it's hard. We know you're taking on more student debt.
Two other topics brought up by Governor Polis were his efforts to lower the cost of health care and his praise for CSU's progress on renewable energy. Ren Wadsworth, CTV, Channel 11.
Governor Polis also mentioned that he's interested in making dual and concurrent enrollment accessible to more students, as well as aligning graduation requirements with the expectations of colleges. For more information pertaining on the governor's speech, you can visit collegian.com.
As passerbys may have noticed, the bookstore has been under construction this week. Fast Print is moving locations from the second level of the Lory Student Center downstairs to the bookstore. Fast Print, which is not affiliated with CSU, only has two locations, the current LSC spot in room 246 and in the UCA Annex on Remington and Pitkin. Rob Valley, a Fast Print operator, says that they are moving locations to make room for Canvas Bank, as well as to increase accessibility for students. Valley says that the renovation should be finished by the end of April or middle of May, meaning students should expect this to continue for the remainder of the semester.
Don't go anywhere just yet. Up next is Hannah Willis with all you need to know about this week's weather.
They said I couldn't dream. Called me a piece of trash and swore that's all I'd ever be. said a bottle couldn't see the ocean. Give up. Go back to the dumpster. But I didn't listen. I made my way. And now, I am what I've always wanted to be.
Good evening, and I'm Hannah Willis, your Tuesday night weather anchor. The current temperature is 17 degrees and slightly cloudy, with wind blowing at 2 to 3 miles per hour, and the sunset was at 5:38 p.m. A look back on the day shows that the skies were very cloudy and gray. There were light snow showers throughout the day, sprinkling the pavement with a light layer of snow, and it was also slightly windy, as could be seen by the flags blowing, commemorating the fallen Holocaust victims for Holocaust Awareness Week. Students around campus were bundled up, as could be seen walking to class, as it was quite chilly outside today as well. Going into tonight's lows, we see that the southwest corner of the state was relatively low, reaching -8 degrees. Fort Collins was 9 degrees and was also quite chilly. Going into tomorrow's highs, we see things averaging around the mid-30s, with the I-25 corridor reaching 36 degrees in Denver and 33 degrees in Fort Collins. Looking ahead at tomorrow's temperature, things warm up by a few degrees, with the temperature reaching 23 degrees and partly cloudy. Gusts will blow up to 9 miles per hour tomorrow, and the sunset will be just a minute later at 5:40 p.m. Looking ahead at the 5-day forecast, we see the temperature will be right around the mid-30s throughout the week and warming up Saturday to 36 degrees. Friday, we're supposed to get a slight amount of snow, and that's about it for the weather. Stay tuned for Jess and Tara with their controversial sports topic of the week.
What's up, Henry?
Hey, Julia. What's up?
What are you drinking your coffee out of this morning?
I don't even know.
Yeah, no, you should fix that.
It's uninspired.
You gotta get in this 905 club, let me tell you.
So if I donate $90.50, I can be part of this club?
It's got mugs, it's got shirts, and it's all dedicated to KCSU.
Well, I guess I'm going to donate to Club 905 because I support local college radio. What about you?
Hello Ram fans, and welcome to the T&J Double Take. I'm Tara Barrio.
And I'm Jessica Mendoza. The CSU softball team had a lot of action this past weekend, so Tara, will you break it down for us?
The CSU softball team headed down to California this past weekend for the DeMarini Invitational, where they had another strong weekend yet again. On day one, the Rams took on some rain and competed against Pacific College. The Rams were able to come out on top with a victory in 5 innings. The Rams hopped on the scoreboard early with senior Lauren McCannon hitting her first home run of the season. The Rams were able to keep their lead throughout the game, scoring 6 more runs by only the 3rd inning. Going into day 2, the Rams split the day with a 5-0 victory over Stanford University and a 6-5 loss against Iowa State. In game 2, the Cyclones loaded up the bases before an infield single followed by an error, allowing 2 runs to score. The Rams were able to tie the game up in the 5th inning, but weren't able to hold on to it, giving them their first loss of the weekend. The Rams were able to finish the weekend with a shutout on their last day against Portland State 7-0. The Rams got on board in the 2nd inning when Isabella Navarro knocked a 2 RBI double to center, scoring Haley Donaldson and Amber Nelson. The Colorado State softball team will head back to California for the Mary Nutter Collegiate Classic this weekend.
Well, Tara, I'm looking forward to seeing how the softball team continues to do this season. They're off to a great start. But I heard over the weekend you got a chance to check out the underwater hockey team, and I'm excited to see what that's all about.
Have you ever heard of underwater hockey? Well, you may have known it as octopush, which was created in England in the 1950s. But before it was a club sport here at CSU, you could have actually taken it as a class, according to head coach Philip Hickey.
It was actually a class. You could take a PE class and get credit for it playing underwater hockey. When I had actually just graduated, so I didn't get any credits for it, but several of the people I was living with at the time were grad students, and they were taking this underwater hockey class, and I said, that sounds interesting, can I come along and check it out? And little did I know, but it's actually really hard to get people to come and try underwater hockey.
Each team consists of 10 players, and like hockey, it's played 6-on-6, and like water polo, it starts with a sprint. Each player is allowed a foot-long stick, which allows them to pass the puck under the water to their teammates. A goal is only counted if it is scored by the stick, though. The game consists of 2 15-minute halves with a 5-minute resting period. And in order for communication, players have to be well aware of hand signals.
Near, center, far.
Okay.
And there's others depending on the formation, but that's the gist of it. You give a very simple hand signal to let the person who's coming in for you know where in the pool they're supposed to be.
Hickey explains the grace to underwater hockey.
It's a really elegant sport. It's graceful, you're weightless, you can move around like a fish underwater quiet, but I really appreciate it.
Underwater hockey isn't just appreciated by Coach Hickey, but also by the community of Fort Collins. Well, Rams, today we are lucky enough to be joined by Captain Yana DeBerner. Yana, thanks so much for joining us today.
Sure. So Yana, this is such a unique sport. When I've been telling people all week about underwater hockey, people are like, never even heard of it. So I have to wonder, how did you get started with this sport?
I actually started a while ago because both my parents play in Denver, so just kind of followed them, and my brother also plays and my sister, so I couldn't let them beat me at anything, so I played.
That's awesome.
So what made you decide to start it here at CSU? Because I know it's not just a student-run sport, it's also a community. So how did you get the community involved with the students?
I really am very passionate about underwater hockey. I've been doing it for a really long time, and I really like it. And there used to be a club here, so I thought I should get it going again. And yeah.
Have you noticed some big challenges with finding other teams to play and challenge you guys, or getting the community involved? Have you faced a lot of challenges there?
Not much, actually. We're pretty new, so we haven't had many teams to play with against yet. We usually just play against ourselves, but the community's been really awesome. They're always helping out and coming to help play and teach, so it's really awesome.
That's awesome. Well, Yana, thank you so much for joining us today. It was a pleasure to have you on and to get the word out about underwater hockey. But it's been nearly 4 months since the Colorado State women's golf team has competed, but their spring season teed off just yesterday. Round 1 of the Rebel Beach Women's Golf Tournament, which was hosted by University of Nevada, Las Vegas, ended with the hosts tied for first place with San Jose State at 290. The Colorado State team was tied for 10th place with Fresno State, each sitting at 309. As round 2 finished up just earlier today, Colorado State had slipped down to 14th out of the 16 teams that were there, just barely beating Northern Arizona and New Mexico State. Arizona was just 3 over par today to finish over UNLV for first place thanks to 170 pars and 40 birdies. And we must mention CSU's rival, the Colorado Buffaloes, finished 6th place in this week's tournament. Last week, Katrina Prendergast finished tied for 28th at this exact tournament. As for this year, unfortunate for the Rams, Haley Grabe finished last in 86th place, and the Rams to place highest was Prendergast at 43.
Well, Rams, it's time for this week's Disrupted Picks, where we ask our Twitter followers to tell us which sports controversy you want to hear. So, Jessica, this week, can you do the honors?
Yeah, so we actually picked before the show today. So here's our little thing we picked out of the hat. And this is from Eric Epps, and he said, do the Nuggets have the experience and maturity on their team to make a playoff run this year? So this is a very controversial question, as the Nuggets are second in the West Conference, but they are the 3rd youngest team in the NBA right now. So, Tara, what do you think about this one?
I don't know. I mean, I genuinely don't think they will have a run in the playoffs. I think that they need to have another building season. And I will say that just because, for reason one, the West is the best. And last year, it was kind of a dogfight, and the seeds 3 and 9, they were separated by only 3 games. So I just think that they need another year to build, and hopefully they'll have Michael Porter Jr. coming back from that injury, so we'll see.
Yeah, so last year was definitely a big down season for the Nuggets. They just barely got left out of the playoffs. So I think that is going to make it even more of a motivator this year for them to make a run in the playoffs. So I'm going to go and say yes, I think they will make a run. I think they have a really deep roster this year with vets and younger talent. Vets with Paul Millsap and Isaiah Thomas, they have that playoff experience, which is a lot of people's biggest concern right now. But they also have a lot of younger talent. You cannot forget to talk about Nikola Jokic. He's one of the best big men in the league right now. He's really good at playing defense. He's really a good, he's a threat to score. So he's really going to help bring this team. And you can't forget to talk about head coach Michael Malone, who actually just coached in the All-Star game and helped bring Team LeBron to the win. So I definitely think that this Nuggets team can make a run in the playoffs as long as they continue their defensive strategies, kind of stay up on that, because they have been kind of back and forth with their defense this season, and then continue to communicate and just play their game. I would like to see them make a run and at least try to contend the Warriors in the Western Finals this year.
Yeah, I like how you said the Warriors, though, because there is a chance they're going to have to play the Warriors, and I mean, it's the Warriors. So I guess we'll have to see when it comes.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Ram fans, if you have a topic that you'd like to hear us talk about, DM us on Twitter or on Instagram. And to stay updated on sports throughout the week, you can head to thecollegian.com or sports_CTV for all the latest updates. I'm Jessica Mendoza.
And I'm Tara Barrio. But don't go anywhere just yet. Justin has a story on the student housing issues in Fort Collins. You don't want to miss it.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise and be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
Listen, I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you judge me for having a problem. No one is going to know that I need help. I need help. I know that no one is going to judge me for having a problem. I realize that I'm not perfect, but it all really started to change because you listen.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back from the break. My name is Justin Rios, here to give you the latest and greatest in entertainment news. Now, here's something I can't do, a cartwheel. I'll save you the trouble of watching me fail at trying one because Cirque Du CSU is coming to the Lory Student Center this Thursday, February 21st from 6 to 8 in the evening. In a Cirque du Soleil-inspired performance featuring the Phantom Circus, a Denver-based professional circus troupe, the best performers in the state come together promising a show unlike anything we've ever seen. From acrobats to stilt walkers and so much more, expect frills, thrills, and possibly chills. Tickets are free for students and $10 for community members. You can get your tickets at csutix.com. You've likely asked whether you're a cat or a dog person, and chances are you possibly said dog, but you're wrong. For this week, cats reign supreme. The Fort Collins Cat and Rescue Spay and Neuter Clinic is hosting a 4-day art gallery for all you cat ladies and gentlemen. The gallery will feature local artists who were given a plain cat template and tasked with transforming it into a grand cat. Even your dog-loving mother would love. The grand cats will be shown on February 20th through the 23rd in Gallery C at Carnegie Center for Creativity on Matthew Street from 12 to 6 in the evening. What do you consider a home? For me, it's somewhere with a roof over my head, a place to sleep, and that sick Wi-Fi connection for Netflix and video games. With winter weather coming out at full force, I asked CSU students about housing and security.
With the rising cost of rent for living off campus, choosing to live in the residence halls at CSU is an option that some are leaning towards, and something CSU Housing Services is pushing more of in the future.
It's very secure. You have to live in that building to be able to scan in there, and even different floors have different access.
Safety is a priority when it comes to living. CSU Housing and Dining Services created the Live On campaign, a program that aims to help students see the advantages of living in the various residence halls beyond their first year.
Working as an RA, I do know that there's a lot of policy and protocol surrounding who we let into the vicinity.
While some 2,000 students are recorded living on campus, there are still downsides, meaning that even if you are 21, you are not allowed to drink alcohol and use recreational drugs like marijuana. You also sign away your privacy with having to share the same space with the roomie.
I think currently living in the dorms, there's definitely more of a built-in community.
While there are benefits to living in the dorms, like being close to class, it may not be for everyone, since choosing a place to live is a big deal for college students. And we college students need to do our research.
This story could motivate apartment complexes to cut the cost of living off campus. But for now, if you would like to learn more about university housing, you can contact CSU Housing and Dining Services at housing@colostate.edu. Who said you can't find your one and only in college? These CSU alum walked away hand in hand with full hearts and some change in their pockets. Newlyweds and FOCO residents Emma and Carmelo Menino took a spin on Wheel of Fortune during the show's Sweethearts Week and walked away as winners. These lovebirds competed against two other couples and ended up taking $56,620 in cash and prizes, including a trip to Hawaii and a Jaguar car. Excuse me. It's crazy inspiring to know that game winners are in our very own city. I'm sure their relationship is rolling nicely, but my advice to the two newlyweds, don't spend all that cash at once. Oh, and enjoy your Hawaiian trip. And that, as they say, is that. Thanks for tuning in to CTV Tuesday News, Weather, Sports, and Entertainment. Tomorrow is our first ever Spanish newscast. Same time, same channel, with the people you know. Stay warm and have a good night.